Daisy Ellery started a vigilante network for abused women. The only way she can consider a specially made order of murder pie is through the reference of a previous client. But now someone's found her, and they're blackmailing her unless she kills the targets they want. If she doesn't, her vigilante activities are going to be exposed publicly. Welcome to Fictional Narrative. I'm Neri, and this is Cozy Saturday, which is the Saturday where I talk about the newest cozy mystery I've delved into. I tell you a non-spoiler review followed by the rating, whether or not I would continue the series, and then we go into the spoilery review. My glasses cannot survive the heat. This week I'm reviewing Magic, Lies, and Deadly Pies by Misha Popp. This is the first in the Pies Before Guys mystery series, and I actually started on the second book in this series, and I was like, whoa, there's a lot going on here. And I wouldn't say that there isn't enough that you can't jump into book 2 automatically. However, halfway through I was like, no, I want to be sure I get an actual introduction to this series. So I started back on book 1. As an intro book, I thought it was really good. It laid out kind of our supporting cast characters, and I love our main cast. And of course, there is an element of romance in this. I thought it was a bit quick, but I usually do. I do like slow burn stuff, so a lot of stuff is usually quick for me. That being said, I understood where the romance was leading. The plot twist for the romance was amazing. I wouldn't say that the story is absolutely focused on mystery, but instead it really focuses on the character of Daisy. So Daisy is a pie maker. She makes pies for a local business run by a man named Frank. It's a diner, and she parks, I believe, on his lot, and he allows her usage of certain things, and in exchange she bakes these really great, classic American pies for him in his diner. When we meet Daisy, she has been kind of living in her van. Her van is called Penny. She's been living in her van Penny with her dog Zoe for a little bit of time, and she's grown fond of Frank and Juan, who works at the restaurant as well. And it's really wholesome. It seems like she's found a place where maybe she wants to put in roots, because we find out very quickly that Daisy has been all over the place because her life has been wrought with a lot of adversity. But what does this have to do with murder pies? Well, it's also kind of a paranormal story. The magic, as I understand it, is interesting. So when the book starts off, she is delivering one of her murder pies. Okay, so this is not a spoiler. She makes murder pies, and the magic that is in the pie is specific to the person that it is targeted, so that way there is no collateral damage. Usually with these cozy mysteries, we get our sleuths who are trying to figure out who the killer is. But in this case, we're following a killer, and a morally gray character at that. Because the people that are being killed absolutely have the ability to not be killed. What do I mean by that? The way she explains it quite early on is that this is basically the intention of the pie. Either the target of the pie has it in them to change and can change, or they die because they don't have it in them to change. And I guess that is just the judgment of the magic. It is not Daisy herself putting in exactly the death sentence, but even then she is delivering murder pie. Obviously, it is not up to her to kill somebody, but this is vigilante justice. So obviously we have our morally gray character, but our victims aren't perfect, and not in the slightly problematic way. They're really problematic in the I did terrible things to people type of way. In fact, when we see how Daisy even goes to find her clients, that's also really a moral gray area too, because she's going to meetings that are supposed to be anonymous group meetings for support for abuse. Early in the book, she actually finds somebody, and the woman is so upset she can't even speak at this group event. So Daisy tracks her down because she ran out of the group meeting. So Daisy just followed her and was like, you know, contact this. And that's what Pies Before Guys is. Pies Before Guys is the business under the business, right? None of these pies are actually paid for. They're just delivered, and they were done in a sense of justice, vigilante justice, of course. She has her actual pie business that operates out of her van, but that's a whole other thing. Pies Before Guys is supposed to be secret, and you get a reference from word of mouth from a previous client, and then Daisy gets the message. She considers the case. She doesn't take on every single case, but she considers the case first. That's right. Not only is the main character of this book a killer, they are a serial killer. I know at least the concept of Dexter. I've never watched Dexter, but given how many people like Dexter that it went on and on for so long, I was like, this is probably a concept that a lot of people might be interested in. Of course, with that, you get Daisy trying to justify certain things because, well, she's a killer. She knows that she's a monster, but she also has to rationalize that the men specifically that she is delivering these pies to, they have a chance. There is a lot, I will say, that goes into how this magic works that would not make sense in a linear sense. But because I'm thinking this is definitely more of a magic of intention, there's no way that intention can be something that can be reined in, right? It's like saying somebody has the potential to do something. They also have the potential to do the exact opposite. Potential is vast, and so is intention. What we judge is usually based on the outcome. And for Daisy, she has some very satisfied customers. For me, I rated this one a 5 out of 5. I had a lot of fun reading this. I will definitely be continuing. There are, I believe, 2 more books that I have, so I'm going to be finishing those. And now we are going to be moving into the spoilery section. So first of all, I do want to touch base on the romance in this story. We do have a love triangle, but it's not your traditional love triangle. Actually, any love triangle is a traditional love triangle as long as all there is the way that it can be formed into a love triangle, but that's not what I mean. Okay? You're expecting 2 men vying for Daisy's attention. She's cute, she's blonde, and she dresses like a 50s housewife. No. So our love interests are Noel and Melly. Noel is a really nice guy who sets up a booth next to Daisy where she sells her pies, and he sells apple cider and some other apple-based stuff. He's trying to take over his family's orchard. And Melly is a college student, a magnetic, beautiful, entrancing college student who talks about feminism, who talks about trying to do better things for women, things that Daisy loves because she grew up with her mother and her grandmother being really strong women who also have magic, but their magic works in different ways. So Daisy's grandmother used to sew magic into her clothing, and that would help women feel confident. They raised her always to use her gift with love. Her mother was a hairstylist. Now, when Melly talks about things like the activism that she has going on and she's so convincing, there is an attraction between them that is not only physical but also intellectual in a way. But she worries that in a lot of ways Melly may not take too kindly to her being a pie maker because she views it as sort of an archaic thing. Well, the way that surface level feminism gets you. But there's no big like aha moment for Melly in terms of her being less against pie making or anything like that. She just takes the time to listen. There's no big scene that ever has to happen. They just communicate to each other. And there is just this nice chemistry there as friends or as lovers, and it's great. And it's the same way with Noelle, where this makes Daisy feel like she can open up to these people. However, given Daisy's past, having to be on the move constantly in Penny and never really making a home before she came to this town, she's very skeptical about what she can say to people and who she can trust. Even Frank and Juan, she's known them for longer. She thinks of them as her found family and yet has been hesitant to confide in them certain things about her past. Next, I want to talk about Daisy's background and her first kill, because her first kill was an accident. I don't think that sends you on a vigilante justice murder pie kick, really. It just means that you find out what you can do. So I want to see when was her first time doing it on purpose. That's the exploration I want to see, because I think that would be interesting, because there has to be, I feel like, a bigger catalyst that makes you go, yes, this is the difference that I am going to make in the world. This is my calling. Not only can she do murder pies, by the way, it's just any kind of magic pie. So she can do studious pies for colleges. She can make people more confident, have strength. When she goes to meetings, she makes pies that will imbue strength on whoever eats it. She can also do forgetting pies. I have a lot of questions about those forgetting pies. Because if Daisy cannot dictate who she can and cannot kill, how does she dictate what is forgotten if she uses a forgetting pie? Which is important. It's a really cool concept. I think it was made in a way that is almost too foolproof. So I want to see what happens next. And I will say that because I'm halfway through the second book, that one is definitely more mystery based. So I'm so excited to finally complete it and then get into the third book. That's where I'm at. And if you've watched this far, thank you so much for being here with me today on this very hot Saturday. And let me know if you would read this book or if I should start watching Dexter, because now I'm a little more interested. I'm also craving pie.